One, two, three.
Dear Jess, as I sort through these old photos and we watch our wedding video, I can't help but notice some time has passed. I have been thinking about doing something like this pretty much since our first anniversary. So here's our story. Back when I was 16, I had dated some girls and we went too far too fast and broke up. That April, I went on a mission trip with the First Baptist Church in North Adams. We were in Pulaski, West Virginia, helping Habitat for Humanity build 2 houses. As a treat, the leaders had a surprise for the group. The day of the concert, they told us we are going to see a group called DC Talk. I asked, "Who's DC Talk?" That night I found out. It was a great time. That night I asked God to be a part of my life. The next day, on the way home, I listened to the DC Talk CD I borrowed and did a lot of thinking. I realized that I had a lot of baggage because of these past relationships. I prayed and said, "God, I will not date for 1 year. I trust you to bring me someone who I will marry. I will not seek a date either. I will let you bring her to me." The next year, our group was back in Pulaski. We helped Habitat restore a house that the people who had gotten it had destroyed. Looking back, I don't think we ever spoke to each other. Not that I had a problem with you, we just never seemed to have anything to talk about. That's what's so funny about us becoming a couple. We are opposites in so many ways, but we work. Back to the story. On the way home from this last trip to Pulaski, you sat behind me in the 15-passenger van, and for some reason, I can't remember, you let me use your arms as a pillow. And we talked the whole way back from West Virginia. Then, as usual with these trips, we came home and crossed into North Adams, Mass. Horns honking, 20-plus kids screaming and rejoice, and I look back at you to say, "Hey, we're home." And you firmly planted a kiss on me that made me so glad your dad, one of the leaders, was in the other van. The funny thing was that I still wasn't thinking about dating you. I just really enjoyed our talk. So that night I called you, and in typical teenage fashion, I said to you, "So you wanna?" And you said, "Wanna what?" And I thought on the inside, "You know what I mean. Date." She said yes. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it was ours. We dated, went to homecoming, prom, wrecked a few garage doors, and graduated from high school. We worked at Camp after you spent 2 days braiding my hair. And then the summer ended, you went to college, and I broke up with you. Sorry. But some good came out of it. We both got to grow up a bit and mature. God has a funny way of bringing people together and restoring broken relationships. I'll never forget June 21st, 2002. We had a conversation over AOL Instant Messenger. And I said, "I'm sorry, and I'd love to talk more in person. If you want, meet me at Fish Pond. I'll be fishing by the road." She showed up. Wow. I was so lucky. We talked at a bench, and at one point I looked down, and so did Jess, and we realized we were holding hands. Our relationship still has some trouble, but we work through them. That summer, we rebuilt the relationship through the mail, since she worked at the camp, and that is 1 hour away, and her college was 3 hours away. But we tried, and it was hard. But then your college graduation came, and you were so lucky Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, didn't come out that day. LOL. Then came the sneaking around on her. That's right. I snuck her ring size from Jen after I snuck to her parents to ask if I could marry Jess. Cal approved. I snuck to DeLegos to pick out an engagement ring. In the meantime, Jess was completely unaware of this. At one point she told me she wasn't waiting forever. I said, give me 2 years. For some reason, she wasn't happy. The next day, I was talking with Mary. She said, it's a good thing I know what's going on, 'cause she's mad. We decided to take a trip to Addison, Vermont. We stayed in a little cabin at the Sportsman's Cottages. I had stayed there with my family and wanted to make this a special place. We unloaded the car and I sent her in to finish unpacking as I brought in the rest of the load. I wanted to take her completely by surprise, so I tried to pretend to fall while she was out of view, but would have heard me. She came around the corner to her boyfriend on one knee, taking a ring box out of his pocket. Then I asked her to marry me. With both her hands over her mouth and tears welling up in her eyes, she said, that's how she said it. I nodded my head. The next few hours were filled with calls to home, friends, and extended family. On 10/14/2006, our dreams were fulfilled. We tied the knot and had a blast. Marriage is tough. Your feelings will get hurt. You will be pushed harder than ever before. You have to compromise, and sometimes families just have to suck it up and deal. The hardest thing we have dealt with is infertility. Our daughter Anna was born after in vitro fertilization. A long story short, doctors help our stuff meet. Our beautiful Anna was born on my grandfather's birthday, 3/21/2009. When Jess found out she was pregnant, she came running into our bathroom, very excited, waving a stick she just peed on, and saying, "I'm pregnant!" We were so excited the next 9 months, and after 25 hours of labor, she was born by cesarean section at 8:28 a.m. I cried and will never forget the doctor saying she peed on the table. We were so proud. Well, they sewed you up. I stayed with Anna, and once you were brought out, I handed you the little being you carried for 9 months. I'm so glad we have pictures of moments like these. And so here we are 17 years later, 10 years of marriage, and I love you more today than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow. Happy 10th anniversary. Here's to 10 more, and that's it. LOL.